CEOs left their posts at a record pace last month. A new report from executive outplacement firm Challenger Gray & Christmas says that 172 chief executives moved on during the month of October. Joining us right now to talk about whether this is part of a larger trend is Maggie Wilderotter. She's the chairman and CEO of Grand Reserve Inn. She's also the former chairman and CEO of Frontier Communications, and she's on the boards of Lyft, Costco, and DocuSign. And Maggie, thanks for being here today.
No, it's great to be back. Thank you.
Is there something new afoot, or is this a one-off to see this number of chief executives leaving?
You know, I think 40% of that number have left for some kind of controversy in their position. So I think that is new. I think there's a lot more transparency in the CEO suite than there ever has been. You don't think there's
more bad behavior, just more?
I think there's more scrutiny.
Yeah, that's scrutiny. I'm not sure if there's more bad behavior or less.
Yeah.
I would hope there would be less since there is more scrutiny and transparency. But yeah, that's unfortunate that these things happen.
Well, you get paid a lot. You should be good at what you do. If you're not good at what you do, there's going to be turnover.
That's right.
And you should.
And they have to be held accountable just like everybody else.
Yeah,
exactly.
But the controversy a lot of times is that you suck at being a CEO, right? I mean, that it's not
always
always
about results.
It's not always fraudulent. It's,
yes.
Or a relationship,
right.
Which also. I mean, it's always been a Me Too world. I think you can go all the way back to Stone Cipher. Remember him at Boeing? I mean, even back then, it could cause a downfall. But now, if you are CEO, it's just off the table because the implied power that you hold over every employee, you can't have a consensual relationship, I don't think.
Yeah.
At all, right?
Yeah. I think
how many are a small number are situations like that, I guess. The vast majority is crappy numbers on earnings day, right?
Well, it's usually a pattern.
Of crappy numbers on earnings?
Yes.
Okay.
Where boards lose faith in the CEO and don't think that that's the right person to turn things around.
Is it easy to navigate the world nowadays and inventory management and...
No, it's not easy. But nobody said the job was going to
That's why you get paid so much.
Right. And that's why you work your way to get into that C-suite. And a lot of times you have to take certain risks, and you have to be able, if those opportunities aren't paying off, to be able to pivot a different way in order to get where you need to get to. But one of the good things is we are making progress with more women on boards of directors. And that's another thing I wanted to mention. I am co-chairing the Breakfast of Corporate Champions tomorrow, where we have 650 board members and CEOs of S&P 500 companies coming to celebrate companies that have more than 30% women on their boards. And I'm here to tell you that at the 30% level, we're up to about 323 companies.
That's great.
Where was it?
That's a huge change.
2 years ago, it was about 158.
Wow.
So we're making really good progress. And if you look at the last several months, it's really exponentially starting to take off.
Why do you think that is?
You know, I do think that it's good business to have diversity in the boardroom. You make better decisions. You have a better way to coalesce around challenges and opportunities. And I think there's a lot of very qualified women out there that have made their way through the pipeline into higher level jobs in companies. Maybe not necessarily to that CEO position yet, which is we're all hoping that continues to move up. But there's a lot of women that, are in marketing and that are in sales and cyber and have the capabilities of operating divisions of companies that can bring a lot to the table.
And it's interesting because, we've looked at this for retail companies. If you have an all-male, all-white, older board that's completely disconnected with the consumers that are actually shopping at these stores, that's a huge risk to your business model. The leadership team is not necessarily reflecting the needs of the actual consumer base. So
that's
there's
right.
a real linkage to actual economic success from diversity.
Yes. And it's also good for the employee base. Right? There's a lot of women that work in retail. There's a lot of women that work in all different industries. And to have a board be reflective also of the employee base and the culture of what's going on in those companies, which really drives the values, that also helps drive the results for the business.
It's funny, though, that we're looking for boards with more than 30% women because, really, half of the boards of every corporation should be women, right? I mean, that's our population. Yeah. That should be reflected.
And if you look at the S&P 500, C 1000 together, it's only about 3% are women. So there's still a long way to go to get to gender parity.
Yep.
But we're on our way, and I think that's important. I also think that CEOs have found it's good for them. It's good business for them to have a different point of view.
Would you think Dennis Muhlenberg can survive?
I hope so.
You do?
I think he's working hard. I think his chairman came out in support of him.
Really? When was that?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, I did
yesterday.
see that. Yeah, yesterday.
I saw. Did you see some of the afterwards, Becky? That they said that the crisp responses that Calhoun gave to all the answers was in stark contrast to what happened in front of Congress last week with the CEO.
Right.
And I was, we were part of the interview. That's sort of my takeaway too. They were crisp, weren't they?
Yes, absolutely.
And inspired. I think stock was up about 8 or 9. He is.
Individual.
Yeah. I think stock was up $8 or $9.
I actually work with him at Blackstone. I'm a senior advisor.
Oh, you're over there too?
Yes, I have been for almost 5 years. So he's very talented, and he's also very committed to making sure Boeing is successful. So he's doing a good job.
I think a lot of people are pulling for Boeing.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it? It's one of our premier companies. The engineering that goes into those planes and the safety record over the past 50 years.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It is.
And they have to, work hard now at building trust and getting trust back. But just one more thing on the women's side for boards. I chair the DocuSign board today. You mentioned Lyft, Costco. I'm on the Cadence Design Systems board as well. I have, and the HPE board, which I wanted to mention. Pat Russo is the chairman of the board, woman. I chair the audit committee. Pam Carter chairs compensation.
I don't like the makeup of this board right here. Can we get a man out here, please? What'd you say? By definition, no, we need 2 more, right?
At least.